I was just in Nashville again,
Yeah.
and saw.
Watching a good TV.
Yeah, dude, I watched all of season 10 of the Great British Bake Off. It's fantastic.
Is that with Noel Fielding?
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah, and a number of other people, including one of the hosts' name is Paul Hollywood.
Oh yeah, I've seen clips of him on Big Fat Quiz of the Year stuff.
Yeah, what's funny about that is that's his real name.
I know. British guy
It
named
sounds
Paul
like a
Hollywood.
Matt Berry name, like a
Uh-huh.
Jackie Daytona
It's very much a Matt
or
Berry
a fucking
name.
Russ Nightlife. Paul Hollywood. And you're like, well, Noel Felding's here. Him and Matt Berry have worked together. This is a bit.
Right.
That guy's name is Paul
No,
Hollywood.
he's a real dude.
And his parents' last names were
Hollywood.
also Hollywood.
Yeah.
And I really need to know why.
Yeah.
I've never seen anyone else with the last name Hollywood.
I don't know that I have either.
No, because it's fucking nuts. But I like that he's like the scary, quote unquote, judge in the show.
Is he?
Yeah.
Ooh, Paul Hollywood's
but he's
gonna
also,
yell at you.
He's not. He's also one of the, like, everyone in that show is overwhelmingly nice.
Yeah.
You know, it's like
A pretty endearing crew.
it's hilarious because like that he's like a shark. You're like, you mean the guy that hugs everyone at the end of every episode? You mean the guy involved in a group hug who just really likes baking? Yeah.
So you traveled to Nashville to.
Yeah, it's an incredibly good show though. It's, I don't know, man. It's nice. It's nice to watch, quote, like, reality TV that it is just pleasant. You know,
You'd think it would happen more.
no one's like fucking bitching and making up shit, and it's just like, hey, there's these people. None of them are famous.
Right.
They're very good at baking,
Yeah.
and here they are in a show doing that.
Being halfway decent
Yeah,
too.
and then like an old fucking posh British lady
Mhm.
eats their thing or giggles at their design, and you go, this is nice.
And she's probably drunk.
No,
No?
she's just a nice lady.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, shit.
There's just a couple, like there's a treehouse cake or something, and she just
Treehouse cake?
yeah, she just liked it. Someone made a treehouse, and she was just like, oh, that's very clever.
That's how I would respond to that. I'd be like, what a fantastic idea.
And
And it's delicious. What?
that was good. Saw Jenny Lewis's previous band, which is Rilo Kiley.
Yeah, how was that?
It was good.
I know you're more of a Jenny Lewis.
I
solo
mean, it's
fan.
basically just also Jenny Lewis.
Okay.
She's most of the stuff.
Yeah.
It's good. She's really good live.
Okay.
I'm a fan. It's a good time. It was odd because it was at this place called The Pinnacle,
Okay.
and it's like super clean.
Is it new?
Yeah, but it's like odd that there's like the trend in rock clubs now is you don't leave like needing a shower. You know what I mean?
Is that?
Yeah.
All right.
Like the Icon Center downtown here, you walk in, everything's fucking pristine, the floor doesn't stick, and
I don't know how I feel about that.
temperature's normal.
Huh.
It's odd.
It is odd.
It's really odd.
It's not what I grew up with.
No. And I think it also makes the tickets cost more than they should.
I don't like that.
Yeah.
I'll take sticky floors and
Yes.
not paying exorbitant
It was,
prices.
it was like over $100 for 2 tickets. And you're like,
Yeah, fuck that.
and you're like, okay, I don't know.
Well, and you and I are similar at shows because we don't drink. We're not like,
Yeah.
usually about 10 o'clock rolls around. We're both like, okay, well, done.
I was like, I like this, but
Yeah.
are we
paying-
staying for all 4 encore songs?
Yeah. Oh, see, and I won't do that. I hate that.
I hate an encore.
I hate it.
I hate the charade.
Just the charade. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the charade. It's just we all know you're gonna. You haven't played the bomber yet. I know you're gonna. Now Motorhead can get away with whatever, but
But I
still,
hate
you're
the
like,
charade.
obviously, you're gonna come out and play it.
Yeah.
You know.
That's why I like a lot of Dead shows. There's like no opener. I hate openers.
Yeah.
No opener. Probably not an encore either.
You sort of know what you're getting.
Because
with it.
we've just played for you for 3 hours.
Right.
And that's good. We're going to take a break in the middle.
See, that's straightforward and honest.
Yeah, that's why jam band shows in general
Be
are good.
upfront about
because
it.
there's one act at this point, you know? Like if you go to see Dave Matthews, it's only Dave Matthews.
Yeah.
You don't need a bunch of other people, you know? Which is a good show live. But I tried to listen to him not live. I'm like, it's not doing the same thing for me.
Yeah, I'm
But
not
live, it's good.
Not a big fan.
Um,
Go figure.
I don't know, but yeah, it's just odd that we just agreed to have a charade.
Yeah.
That's it.
Everybody agrees to it. I didn't agree to it. I'm like, what? Stop trying to sneak this one past us.
And Hannah saw Laura Marling in New York,
Okay.
and before her last song, she was like, "I'm going to leave.
Yeah.
There will not be an encore.
Mm-hmm.
This is the last song."
See, I love that.
Good.
I love that.
Like this is the end of the concert.
This isn't me being coy.
Do not
till I get
stand
extra
around.
attentional profit from you.
It's over.
It's just
when this song is over,
boom.
It's over now.
I wish that was a trend.
Yeah,
cheap ticket prices and just a straightforward fucking honest show.
Yeah, and I really don't need an opener. We skipped the opener though. We showed up and 10 minutes later they went on. I was like, good, we nailed that.
Yeah, I always feel like the opener is sort of like previews at a movie. Like I don't want to experience the opener for a long time, but I definitely like want to see.
I don't need two
because I've found a lot of good bands that
I have
way.
two, but I never need two openers. A two opener show drives me insane.
Yeah, I'm not at a festival. I just want to see this band I like.
Yeah. Although I will say, Hannah took me to another show in Nashville one time, and it's one of the only things that she's taken me to that I've been like, I do not like that. It was this band Hiatus Coyote, and I did not like it. But the guy that opened, I did like a lot, and I've been trying to remember his name for 3 days. But he was, I believe he was no, they're from Australia. He was from America, but he was doing like a hip hop soul thing, and he did the whole set like it was a radio show from like the 70s. So he'd like talk as the DJ. And play, and like should be playing behind them like a fucking radio show, then go into the songs and come, and I was like, this is good.
I can see that being fun.
Yeah,
that's at least a cool presentation.
I was like, I like this guy, and I really have to remember his name because he was really good. But like Charlie Crockett has good openers. Everyone I've ever seen open for him I've liked.
Yeah.
But normally I don't need an opener. Also, my car window got smashed.
Yeah.
Along with 14 other cars in the hotel valet lot, and you're like, well, why'd you build a valet lot that has no gate and no wall? And
so what happened? That's an odd occurrence.
Yeah, I mean, they replaced the window.
Well, it's nice of them, I suppose.
But like, I feel like after 3 or 4 cars, you start going, that's
14 cars.
An awful lot of smashing sound.
That's an awful lot
coming
of smashing.
From the one place where that shouldn't be coming from.
You'd think after first car or two, you'd know something was up.
And like, it wasn't that big of a lot. Like, where were you?
So were these people just on a destruction rampage, and we're just like, I'm gonna go smash up as many windows as I can?
People kept being like, did you have guns? They're looking for guns. I think it was a gun thing.
Is that a common thing? Like, I know the valet people probably have guns sitting under there.
No, like they were looking for guns and cars.
That's what I'm saying. Like, yeah. That seems like a weird...
That's a good way to get guns that aren't traceable to you to use in other crimes.
I guess, but how many guns did they get out of 14 fucking cars?
I don't know. Mine wasn't in the car.
Yeah.
That's dumb.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Like, most people, I would think, wouldn't go to valet and leave their gun in the...
You'd think.
Under the seat or in the glove box or whatever you gun people do.
I had a Chase Bank envelope that had $3 in it, and they didn't even take that, but it makes me a little happy to...
Do you think they checked and were like,
oh yeah, they
you.
Definitely checked. Yeah, it wasn't where
You're like, is this before he bought the bike? Fuck yeah! Oh, wait, never mind. This is after he bought the bike.
Exactly $3 in there. They left it. I don't know. Could get you like a...
fucking...
I'm not going to say that.
Laundry.
But anyway... What else? What do we got going on? Podcast song, Black Cat, is out on an album.
Yeah.
It's
a good record.
Your old pal Dom Foot and his close personal
job,
friends. The album is called Up Close and Personal. The song is called Black Cat, and there are 10 other songs on that record that I didn't write. But it is a good record. That is out.
It's still worth listening to.
It is. We have we're gonna be at Germantown Hoedown, not this weekend, but next weekend.
Yeah.
Which is in Germantown, Kentucky, at the fairgrounds.
I hope I have breaks.
If you're anywhere in the area, you should go. Other than that, we have our calendar shoot on October 26th at the Southgate House in Newport, Kentucky. You bring your bike if it's cool or vintage, and we'll put it inside the main room and take pictures of it with models, etc. There's going to be a rock and roll band and other things. Now, this episode is brought to you by Evo Creatives on Instagram, Evo_Creatives.
Nailed it, dude.
I did. In Hampstead, Maryland. They do new old stock interiors for cars, vans, and other vehicles.
Beautiful work.
Beautiful work. They have old stock for your old car, so it's period specific.
Yeah,
What are we 5 in? And I finally got a good ad read.
that was fucking
Check out Evo Creatives or Evo_creatives
right.
on Instagram for more information
You'll be glad you did.
or to look at it. You know, I don't know.
Yeah,
Looking at stuff's
beautiful
fun.
pictures. Yeah. Aesthetically very pleasing stuff he does.
Yes. This episode is not brought to you by, but is with the Appalachian Sun, otherwise known as Michael Story.
Yeah.
The first half is generally spooky stories. You know.
Yeah, he's an Appalachian yarn teller. I liked him.
Yeah, we discuss a variety of folklore, both related to people like Leonard Skynyrd and Waylon Jennings, and then also related to just the general spookiness of odd places in the South.
Because they are plentiful.
Yes. And then afterwards we get into his life a bit and his career getting back into music.
Yeah.
And the path that led from playing music to being a funeral director to making fucking content, then back to music. And how he is putting that music out now.
Yeah, it's a cool trajectory.
Yeah, it was it's like almost October. I very much enjoy Halloween.
Yeah.
So we did this on purpose. It was a purposeful spooky story episode, but we went a couple other places. You brought this up before, and I would like to institute it.
Yeah.
Which is intro recommendations for things.
Yeah.
I think that is a good idea. So I think we should each pick a movie and a song or album that we have been enjoying or like and want people to also enjoy and like.
I've been reading a book and not listening to music.
Not a music or a movie.
It's not.
And the book that you're reading, people aren't going to want to read.
They should.
They won't.
People are stupid.
The books that I have are the Dick Cavett book, which you did.
Which I'm also
reading.
There we
go. That's one. Dick Cavett.
There we
his
go.
book, Brief Encounters. Dick Cavett is one of the best TV show hosts of all time.
All time.
Everything's on YouTube, and it's long. It's like a podcast. You know, I'm putting it in the context that you can understand.
Did Marin before Marin?
Yeah, it's basically that. He'll talk to people for an hour, 90 minutes, and it's people like Orson Welles, Marlon Brando.
Yeah.
Fucking Mel Brooks has a great episode. There's an incredible Scorsese De Palma episode. Bunch of people. There's a great freaking one from the 90s.
Yeah, Cavett's the best. He can be punchy. He's like
intellectual,
but not like snooty about it. He's very approachable.
Yeah, and it's a very different
thoughtful
thing than the Tonight Show.
Yeah, he's great.
It's one guest for a while.
Yeah,
and they really talk about stuff.
Yeah,
and we don't have that on TV anymore, but we do have it on podcasts. It's kind of the same thing.
Kind of.
So I don't know, Dick Cavett in general's recommendation.
I recommend Dick Cavett.
He's still alive too, but he reads his book. It's fun.
He also did a lot for mental health. I like that about him, being a depressed guy.
Yeah, him or you?
Both. People didn't talk about it much, and he was out there saying like, yeah.
He hosted SNL. He hosted SNL as well.
He hosted it. That's how I discovered him.
Yeah,
watching old 70s SNL bits.
Yeah,
you know.
It's interesting. I got to check some of those out.
Yeah, it's
curious about his hosting.
It's about what you'd expect.
Yeah. I'm also going through Live from New York, which is an oral history of Saturday Night Live.
Yeah, that's one I'd like. I should read that as well.
It's very long. It's very good.
Yeah.
It's a book that I've been falling asleep to. It's not Audible. And I got to the point where like they started quoting Will Forte and Fred Armisen.
Yeah, how do you fall asleep to that?
I don't. I don't. I'm too interested. I can fall asleep to all the other points, but then it gets to like my fucking high school cast, and you know, as the adage goes,
that's your
your favorite SNL cast is the one from when you were in high school, which I think is true.
Not for me, but yeah.
Well, how was the cast when you were in high school? Was it a down period?
It was Will Ferrell and all those guys.
Oh, that's like an up period.
There was some really good stuff there.
Yeah.
Just not my favorite.
I'm a big fan of the, I think like the Sudeikis Forte, Kristen Wiig, Bobby Moynihan, Fred Armisen, like.
Yeah.
And if you look, and Bill Hader, if you look at that whole cast, they're all A-list heavy hitters now.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm not sure that's happened with any other cast, where you look at every single one of them and you're like, great fucking career.
Yeah, I suppose that's probably true.
You know, just every one of you went on to like. Fucking Fred Armisen has done 1,000 things. He had fucking Portlandia and Documentary
And not
Now.
just funny stuff, like
Yeah,
like
Bill Hader did
critically
Barry.
critically acclaimed, good stuff.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
fucking nuts
Barry's
what these
amazing.
people are doing.
Oh yeah.
Um, Jason Sudeikis did Ted Lasso, which was the biggest show in the world for 4 years.
Oh yeah.
You know, it's anyway. That's
Yeah.
good. I would also like to
Fair point.
recommend Gary Stewart's "Out of Hand" record from 1976.
Yeah.
I've been playing it a lot.
You have.
There's a song in there called "Dragon Shackles," which always reminds me of Scooby Doo Ghosts. So that's pertinent to Halloween. It's not about that.
Yeah, but I like that better.
Yeah, it's a great song. It's a great record.
I have a different appreciation for it now.
Yeah, it always reminds me of like, you know, those like blue ghosts from the original Scooby Doo.
Yeah, dude, I
have
picture.
yeah.
It's in my head perfect.
I could do a chase scene,
Oh,
the
yeah.
Dragon Shackles with the doors. Yeah, that would work really well. I'll make a reel of that and get 2 different copyright hits.
Yeah.
That's a recommendation.
Mm.
And as far as movies, we're getting spooky. It's gonna be Halloween. All these are gonna be spooky movies. What do I want to start with? It's a good question.
I think some of the ones that you should watch and just haven't yet.
What do you
Seven.
mean? These are recommendations for other people, not recommendations for me.
Well, I mean, it can be both.
It can, but I don't know if Seven's a Halloween movie. Like, is Silence of the Lambs a Halloween movie? I don't know. It might be.
No, they're just darker movies.
They are
They're
darker
just
movies.
really good dark movies, and if you haven't seen them, now is as good a time as any.
Sure. I am gonna recommend though, Deep Red, Dario Argento.
Mm-hmm.
It's fantastic.
It is.
Yeah, it is. So that questioningly, it's a great movie.
Agreeing with you after I think about it.
Let's see. I want to put another one in there. What should it be? Halloween.
That's one.
Yeah, Halloween. You know, I like.
Were any of those new ones good?
I don't know. I don't think so. I'm not gonna watch them.
Yeah.
John Carpenter didn't make them. I'm not gonna do it.
Yeah, I kind of do it because I love John Carpenter.
Yeah, and he knows like any John Carpenter movie is a good recommendation. Basically,
Pretty much.
Prince of Darkness is really good.
Yeah.
Assault on Precinct 13 isn't really a Halloween movie, but it's a good movie.
It's still a great movie.
The Thing, I think that
Thing
can
is-
qualify.
Thing is one of my all-time favorite movies.
Yeah, Thing's really good.
Yeah. Like,
Um,
hands down.
but I want to point this out about John Carpenter
Mm.
and Halloween and like general old slashers versus the new horror stuff. I find a lot of new horror stuff gets too bloody too quickly, so you're desensitized.
Yeah.
You know, like my dad was telling me about. He went to go see a new. It was like maybe a year or two ago. New horror movie. I don't remember what it is, but he said there was so much blood in the first 20 minutes he stopped caring.
Mm.
You know, and that's not good. You don't want to be like, okay, another one. You know, but if you watch Halloween,
Yeah.
there's no murders until the last like 15 or 20 minutes. It's
And
all
they're-
suspense.
Then they're terrifying. Yeah. Well, because he's so good at pacing.
Yeah, you know, and
It's
I like
incredible.
that. That's
Yeah.
my issue with Scarface, which isn't a horror movie,
No.
but a guy gets his leg cut off 20 minutes into that movie.
Scarface would have done well to have a little better pacing.
A little more restraint, I think.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
because like De Palma's other stuff, that's a good recommendation. Sisters, Body Double, Blowout, those are all great De Palma Halloween movies
Yeah.
that have better pacing.
Yeah. Definitely.
You know, and like you see a guy get his leg cut off while he's alive with a chainsaw. So then anything you see afterwards, you go subconsciously maybe, well, that's not as bad as getting your leg cut off with a chainsaw. So
Yeah.
it doesn't affect, you know, I guess Tony gets shot to death by machine guns, but
Better
like
than chainsaw
better
to
than
the
getting your
leg.
leg cut off with a chainsaw.
Chained to a shower curtain.
So I don't know. You know, pacing in movies seems to struggle sometimes.
Agreed.
Also, if you voted for Sam Elliott over Pacino,
Explain. I'm interested in this.
write in,
Yeah.
because the fuck was that?
We were both a little
It's Al Pacino.
perplexed by that. Yeah.
We like Sam Elliott too,
I love Sam Elliott.
but have you seen Dog Day Afternoon or The Godfather or Panic in Needle Park or Cruising or Scent of a Woman or Sea of Love or like fucking Scarecrow with Gene Hackman? Like, it's fucking Pacino, guys.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
quite a powerhouse to be tackled to the ground by Sam
Show me a
Elliott.
movie aside from Lifeguard that Sam Elliott led.
Well,
He was great in
he's always good though.
what was that Mel Gibson movie? Jesus, We Were Soldiers. He's great in We Were Soldiers. That's
Okay.
a really good movie. But also, it's a Mel Gibson movie. I do like Mel Gibson. I won't apologize.
No, fucking his Hamlet is my favorite Hamlet.
Mel Gibson's great.
He's yeah.
Even like conspiracy theory is great.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But anyway, we're getting far afoot here.
Yeah, that'll happen.
This episode is with the
Michael
Appalachian
Story.
Sun, Michael Story. Enjoy some Halloween shit. It'll be fun. It'll be good. Here it is.
Perfect.
I got distracted at the end.
Yeah.
I'm your black cat baby. Your bad luck creeping around the bend.
All right. Well, the first thing I had to, it was on my mind. A lot of people know about the Leonard Skynyrd plane crash.
Yeah.
It's near the anniversary of that. I guess they might have released that last album around this time before they toured it. Anyway, their last concert venue was in Greenville, South Carolina, which is not too far away from where I grew up, about an hour and 10 minutes. And I lived there for a little while. But I think a lot of people tie the darkness around that tragedy to Ronnie Van Zant. Like always, he said a lot that he was never going to make it past the age of 29.
Sure.
But I was starting to look at the venue itself because the Leonard Skynyrd plane crash happened after they played there. Stevie Wonder in 1973, so years before the Leonard Skynyrd plane crash, had played a show there and was involved in a severe car accident leaving. He was like in a coma for 4 days. And then after Skynyrd, there was Kiss played there in 1985.
All
And
right.
one of their crew members fell to his death from the rigging. He was apparently one of the lights had caught fire and he fell from the rafters like in front of the whole crowd.
Okay.
But so I was like, all right, it wasn't just Leonard Skynyrd and the tragedy around Ronnie Van Zant. Like there's got to be something else to this place. So
Yeah.
since my thing is local spooky folklore, that building, the Greenville Memorial Auditorium, to my knowledge, to this day, is still a vacant lot because they blew it up on the news in the 90s. I remember we watched it at school. Like the teacher like turned on the TV and like we got to watch them blow up the Greenville Memorial Auditorium. That was a good day, you know. Um, but why? So originally that was a homestead, and of course they had forced laborers on said homestead.
Sure.
And I was like, I wonder, I don't know. I started looking into archaeological investigations of other kind of plantation homes and started wondering if like these like protection enchantments, because in other archaeological investigations they found like roots or hoodoo or whatever you might want to call it, witchcraft or protection charms buried in the entranceways of a lot of the places where the laborers would have lived.
Okay.
And so I started looking into that and then looking into the family that owned that property. They wanted it to stay in the family, but of course, when somebody dies and then the family gets to arguing, like things get confounded. Eventually, they moved that house like a mile down the road, and one of the family members was in with like the Elks Lodge or something, and they wanted to turn it into a civic center. It's
Okay.
it took 30 years. It could be longer, but it took 30 years of fighting and arguing. Like every time they would get ready to build this civic center, memorial auditorium, because other towns had these auditoriums and were doing well. They were getting regional or national acts coming through and playing music.
Right.
So Greenville wanted one. And it took them 30 years, and every time it failed. Till eventually one day they built the Greenville Memorial Auditorium. And then it seems like every show had some sort of tragedy that would happen like to the band or crew like after performing there. So like I mentioned, Leonard Skynyrd, Stevie Wonder, Kiss are like the most well-known ones.
Sure.
And then they blew it up on live TV in the 90s. And just like in its inception, like the 30 years that it sat there vacant as a vacant lot waiting for them to build something, to this day, every time they try to do something with that piece of property, it fails.
Seriously.
And so it's just like this abandoned lot with a fence around it current day. And I fully believe like they disturbed some, like they disturbed some sort of um protection that was put on that property,
Yeah.
and nothing they do has ever worked out.
And so when they moved the house was taken off the land, and then
Yeah,
the auditorium was built on where that house was.
exactly.
Okay. Um, has the house dealt with anything, or is the
Yeah.
house fine just in a different place?
I would love to know. I would love to. It's kind of in a very well-to-do kind of gated community. I do
Okay.
believe they might give tours of it, but I do know that it's privately owned, and I would love to talk to the owners of it just
You
to
should.
just to know. Like, is anything weird happening here?
Yeah.
Because
What's the inside scoop, guys?
I
Yeah,
imagine it
everything
was.
that's happened on that property since then has just been tragedy.
Yeah, where was I thought that the Randy Rhodes thing happened in South Carolina, but it's obviously not that. I don't think. I was waiting for you to say Randy Rhodes plane crash.
I I think that happened in Florida. That's one of those. If you looked at my YouTube, you see that I for a long time was doing musicians' causes of death.
Right.
Right. I saw it.
And
Yeah.
he's one that's on the list. I just haven't gotten around to it. 'Cause TikTok
Yeah.
and Instagram started taking me in another direction.
Yeah.
Yeah. That one is that one's a bummer because it was just a guy being a dick and then exploding a plane.
That's true. That's, he was trying to. I fully believe, like I've read that case study a lot, and I fully believe Randy Rhoads was trying to like
Stop him.
stop him. Yeah. Like I believe that may be one of the reasons they crashed because he was buzzing the plane over Ozzy's bus. Like he was
Right.
trying to touch the wheels of the plane to the top of the bus, from my
Right.
understanding. And I fully believe Randy Rhoads tried to save the day.
That's a bad idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. There seems to be in the South in general, as I'm sure you're aware, a lot of real spooky shit.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. And I suppose that's why I'm sitting here today.
Indeed.
Brave enough to talk about it.
You
All
know, I
the
mean, have you ever dealt with anything like digging into something that made you be like, I should stop this?
Oh yeah.
That's a great question. Um, I have.
Okay.
And one of the things that freaked me out about it the most, I guess I'll get to that. I have a great uncle. He was murdered in town in like 1883. And I grew up with that story. So my mother had me really young, and I was raised by my great grandmother. I was very fortunate to have her until she was like 102 years old. So I grew
Right.
up with this, hearing this story about, be careful when you go out in town. Somebody will just hit you over the head and take you for everything you got. And she was talking about this story. So I started digging into it. His name was William John Honeycutt, and he was a wounded Civil War veteran. And he was a prominent dude in town because he had enough lumber on his land to build bridges. So that was like his main thing in town. So everybody knew who he was. And one night, like he had gone to town to sell some stuff, and he was on his way home like dusk in December with his one of his young boys, and somebody came out of nowhere and beat him and the boy over the head. William fell like over the chain stay or whatever, the the front of the wagon is, and the boy would just became unconscious. He survived and was able to testify in court, which is how they caught the guy.
Okay.
But um, like the mule knew the way home, and like it's like yeah, exactly. The mule was like, all right, yeah, I know my job, and like pulled the cart with the dead William John and the unconscious little boy back to the house.
Oh man.
So I kept digging, and I found out that the man who killed him was the first person executed in town. So,
Really?
so then the question was, where did this happen?
Yeah.
So I was at the history museum, I was at the library, searching and searching. I finally found a map of where they uh had the original prison or the original jail, and all the details about like how they built the scaffolding inside, and only like 10 people were allowed inside. But when the news got around town as the first public execution, apparently there were hundreds of people like gathered outside the jail, and everybody was singing hymns and stuff. Like it was this big to do. I finally
Huh.
found the location of where that jail was, and I made a video like, hey, I found it, let's come with me to see the original jail or whatever. And so I walked into this little wood line, and there's an old house there that's completely abandoned, which to me it didn't seem like it was a jail, but it definitely could have been in the 1800s. And I posted the video with, just like, hey, that's it. I got at least 12 separate uh, direct messages to my inbox of people saying, don't ever go back there. Like, did you not see the thing like back like people I didn't know? And that's never happened since, like getting so many different direct messages from people who are like, that was really a really weird place. You should never go back there. And so, yeah, I've never gone back. I just being raised that the book, the monsters in the woods are gonna get you. I'll respect.
Right.
What they what they see in the
I
video.
don't, I don't know what they saw. They were just like, there's a really bad energy about this place.
Just
So
asking
I think
people.
I should say that most of my audience, like 93% of my audience are witchy women over the age of 45. So
Right. Yeah.
I'm just gonna take their word for it. I,
We
I don't
we
want
were
my name buried in a jar.
we were at a rally in Mansfield, Ohio, at the prison up there.
Oh yeah.
And you could tour the prison as part of the ticket. And I was walking through the prison with this dude. Like, he's a big dude. He's in a fucking metal band, got a beard, long hair, looks real tough. We get to this one room, and there's just a single chair in the room, and like the walls have scratches on them and shit. We walked up to the door and just both stopped and went, I don't think so, and turned around and walked away. And this guy that works there's like, yeah, that room people get like scratched for no reason. They get all the shit. Then later, to Eli, I go, did you go on the tour of the prison? He was like, yeah. And I was like, you see the horrible chair room? And he was like, yeah, I sat in the chair. And since then, things have not been going great for him.
Oh no.
So the joke is just, you really shouldn't have fucked with that chair, man.
I hear that a lot.
You just take a bath in vinegar, you'll be fine.
Have you tried that?
Yeah. I talked to my own witch over the age of 40.
Hey, there you go. Was that the recommendation?
I had some salt and some other things she sent me home with. Yeah.
It
Yeah.
was that's the only place I've ever been that I've been like, oh, absolutely not. The rest of the prison I didn't get that vibe from. Like, I was like, oh, old prison, okay. And then they had like solitary, which was a tiny room in a wall. I'm like, I'm not going in there because I'm claustrophobic, not because it's fucking terrifying. But that fucking one room,
It was a
like,
spooky room.
dude, just something about the energy of it was horrible.
I wouldn't do it again.
I don't know.
There are places like that. There are places with unexplained feeling. I fully believe that.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
do now.
Yeah.
I've never been like a big ghost guy, but that one I was like, this is wrong. This is not like I'm not crossing this fucking door at all. I'm not going in there. I'm not even going to continue to look at this place. Something
Yeah.
bad happened in here.
No. I was skeptical about all of that until I bought this house that I'm sitting in right now.
Yeah.
It was weird. I'd been working in the barber shop for a few years. I heard how terrible and hard it was to buy a house. Uh, this house wasn't even on the thing with the realtor sent me things to look at, and then it popped up the day I was supposed to meet her. I was like, "Hey, can we look at this place?" She was like, "Sure, we can stop by." I came in here and had a feeling about it. I was like, "Let's put an offer in on this one. I like this one."
Yeah.
And I mean, offer in, accepted. Like 30 days, I was moving in, which is like
Fast.
mind-boggling to me. But I was like, that's not the owner of the house that I'm dealing with. I realized it was her niece as a power of attorney. So I started looking up. I was like, who lived here? And turns out the lady had passed away here.
Okay.
But what's weird about her passing away here was I found her obituary online, like through the funeral home, and she passed away on January 20th, which is my birthday, like exactly 3 months before I bought the house. And there like for the first few months of living here, there was definitely weird stuff happened. Like I said, I was skeptical until I saw the very first shadow figure of my life. I have a Doberman, and I was in my kitchen and I just heard my dog's like nails just like walk and then stop. And I'd come around the corner and she's just staring down the hallway. So I look up from her down the hallway and I full on see a shadow outline figure like walking down the hallway and then just kind of like turn off like an old TV, you know how they kind of go to the
Yeah.
and I was like, no, no, this ain't it. What do I got? So I had to reach out to the community and get
Right.
the Oracle's advice.
Yeah.
So I went into the master bedroom and it was like the first time I closed the door and behind the door was a mirror. So there's folklore in the South and in Southern Appalachia that if someone passes away at home, you cover the mirrors, open
Right.
windows, stop clocks. And I took that mirror downstairs and started engraving tattoo designs on it. And
Okay.
nothing weird has happened in here since.
With something like that, do you feel like it's like a roommate, or it's like something you got to deal with?
It's my ghost Mima.
What's that?
She's my ghost Mima. Her
Okay.
name is
Yeah.
Anna.
Do you think she decided that you were okay?
I think so. So the
Seems-
story, I do have a funny part to this story. I'm a weird dude, you know. That's probably obvious. So, of course, I have a skeleton outside year round, just kind of sitting on the front porch swing. But it's dressed in like this nightgown I found, like an old lady nightgown from the thrift store, and it's got this little gray wig on it and pearls. So the guy who cuts the grass in the neighborhood, I guess his nephew works with him. And I was just talking to this dude at the bar one day, and I was like, "You look familiar. Oh, you cut the grass next door, right?" He was like, "Oh, you're that guy." He said, "You terrified my uncle." Like that. He knows that lady died here. And he, like the first time he saw my old lady skeleton, my Mima on the
Yeah.
porch, apparently he he freaked out. And that's been a source of entertainment for me.
Yeah.
Just thinking about that.
Dude, it's
You gotta have a sense of humor about these things.
yeah, I guess. I
Yeah,
don't
He
know.
said it looks just like her because he cut her grass for like 15 years, right? He
You
said it
nailed
looks just like her.
Did she die in a odd way or just normal?
I think she was like 89. So
Okay.
natural
Well,
causes.
that's
It was
better.
something in the lungs.
Okay, it wasn't like a straight
It's
up
not
murder.
Hopefully it's not a leaky HVAC system. I
That'd
mean,
be scary.
10 years from now, you're both haunting the house.
it'll be a party.
You'll be on the porch swing.
I wanted to ask you about Waylon Jennings and Hank Sr. as well.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'd
I
never
fu-
heard that one.
I fully believe Waylon Jennings was haunted by the ghost of Hank Williams Sr. And I know I'm not the only person that believes that. I believe they might even touch on it. What is that? Stories from the tour bus, the
Yeah, Tales from the Tour Bus.
Hills from the tour bus. Yeah. Have you ever read Waylon's autobiography?
I've not.
I found a copy of it at the library and I was like, I have to read this. It's amazing. I don't know, he probably worked with somebody to write it, but like it starts off with I've gone broke no less than 3 times in my life and I always seem to bounce back. And I was like, well, hell yeah, brother. Like I need some wisdom like that.
Yeah.
I got one more to go, I guess, before. But he talked about the first thing was Hank Jr. had given him a pair of Senior's boots,
All right.
and he was brash enough to wear them to the studio.
Mm-hmm.
And he's talking about he's in the studio and this big storm comes, and, like knocks a tree over on his brand new Cadillac that he just bought. There's another story where, and I guess he never wore those boots again. Another story where he saw Hank like at the end of a hallway. But then, like, what really solidified, like, oh yeah, I believe him, is that he went to see Hank Williams' Cadillac, and he said the
Yeah.
first thing he had the urge to do was lay down in the back of it,
Okay.
Uh-huh.
right, where they found Hank deceased.
Yeah.
Right.
And after that, he said it always felt like anytime he was getting on his tour bus, like he knew that Hank was there with him. And I believe that. I believe him. I
You
would
know,
think it would be Buddy Holly, but Hank.
yeah, you'd think that Hank would maybe haunt his son,
Yeah,
and not just a guy.
Yeah.
you know.
Who
I
can
could
say?
be misremembering, but I feel like there's one of those stories where Waylon was like screaming at the ghost of Hank, and like pictures fell off the wall.
Okay.
I it's been a while since I read that book. I know that one YouTube video was I rewatched it recently, and I was like, bro, this is boring. I was so yeah. Watching those videos, you see me try to learn how to address the camera and edit video and do sound. It's a whole
Yeah.
there's a whole lot harder than I thought it was going to be going into it, making those long form videos.
It's
They're good.
we don't do any of that
Yeah.
for like a reason. You know? uh, like this podcast doesn't even have video involved. It's just audio because
You'll
video
get
is a
you'll get
nightmare.
there.
Yeah, but like I'm gonna have we're gonna have to be making a lot of money on it to have someone film it and edit it because I'm not doing that shit.
Yeah, that's the thing people tell me is like you need a team, and I was like, well, they're not paying me enough for a team. Like get there.
Yeah, nobody's paying anyone enough for a team. I don't know how it
How,
comes.
how long have y'all been doing Live Forever, Die Whenever? I know I've been following you for a while now.
Um, let's see. So I started it. I moved back from San Francisco to Ohio in 2019, and in Joshua Tree, I had a realization about because I quit what I was doing, and I was like, what the fuck am I gonna do? And I was in the middle of doing some stuff with my friend, uh, if you know what I mean. And we,
Mushrooms.
yeah,
Oh, man.
and I just it was the last time I've ever done them too. Like I did them a lot for like a year, and then I had that one and like the Terrence McKenna thing of when you get the message, hang up the phone.
Yeah.
That was my big thing every time, and it helped me a lot because every trip I could be like, all right, we're good, and then I was done. But that one was like the last big one, and I was like, oh, I should have a T-shirt company because I've been making them for myself, and it should be called Live Forever, Die Whenever. And then I got back and instantly started doing it, and it didn't do anything for like 2.5, 3 years. because I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. And nothing works quickly, you know.
Nothing.
And then around, what was it? It was around when I got married. So like October 2022, I figured it out. And since then, it's been growing and getting bigger, and we've been adding shit. You know, we added a magazine. Um, I don't have another job. My wife just runs the magazine, and then we started, you know, podcast, and we do events and all this shit. Um,
Amazing.
that was a long answer. But I think, how long have we been doing the podcast for? Was it like last May that we started it?
Somewhere around there.
Does that make sense? It was either last April or May.
Okay.
And you know, we talked to a lot of musicians, obviously. Um,
I saw you were interviewing JD Pincus, and I think I just sent a fire emoji or something because I
yeah,
love that dude, and I was very excited to hear that because
that was a really
I've been following the Instagram page, but I saw that podcast coming up. He had posted on his story. I was like, oh no way, I need to hear what he's got to say.
yeah, that one was really fun.
Yeah,
He was
but-
he's a fun guy to talk to. He's interesting.
Most definitely.
And that's also one of the ones that, like, for both of us,
We've both been listening a while.
yeah, because like Eli's older than me. So like he heard the Butthole Surfers when they were, like, you know, out. JD Pincus was still in it. I wasn't alive yet. But
Me
you know,
neither.
yeah, you're old. And in
Well, I
in
don't
Le-
know. Yeah, maybe I was.
still in like high school, I was like, oh, what the fuck, the Butthole Surfers, you know. And so that's one of the ones that, talking to the person, the first second they show up, I'm like, okay.
I have memories of you as a teenager.
Yeah.
Exactly. I opened my Instagram DMs one day and I saw like a message from JD Pincus and I was like, no way. This has got to be count. Like, there's no way this man is sending me a message. And I open it up and he's like, hey, do you want to come play a show at our church? The free
yeah.
the Free
Yeah.
Holiness Church.
Right.
You don't say no to you know
No.
No,
I was like, hell yeah, man, it would be an honor. And getting there and meeting him in person, it's like such a like, I don't know. The dude is connected to the universe in a way like you can realize that if you're standing in front of him. Which I appreciated him immediately. I think he told you him and his wife bought this old church, and
Yeah.
it is my like 100% favorite venue to play. No PA system because it's a small like listening room,
Right.
and they're like handing out. They have the collection plate, but the collection plate is full of Jello shots. They're just like walking. You're so well taken care of. Like they cook for you, they give you a green room space, and it's just like this really wonderful community that he's built out there. And just to like be in a room where the acoustics are perfect and like the people are like genuinely like engaged in your performance, I will be forever grateful. The fun part about that is I showed up and like the other guy on the bill was a clown. I was like, who? I figured I was opening, you know, I figured I was opening, but no, Tumbleweed the clown was and like I recently wrote a song about it. Like I laughed, I cried, and we all got down. Like, dude, it's so funny. Like you're laughing, and the next minute, like he'll hit you with something real that you've felt before, and you're just like, oh man. So one of the best times I've ever had. So I'm glad y'all got to talk to JD
Now,
because
is there
think
any
it's-
history to that church? Did you
I
dig
don't
into
know,
that?
but I don't know, but the vibe is definitely snake handler, you know. It's out in the country, quiet little hillside, and just if you stand in that room by yourself, like you could just like see the ghosts of people taking up serpents. Could have just been real stoned, you know. I don't know.
I didn't realize he was doing it until I saw that Coleman Williams played there. You
Yeah.
know? And I was like, oh shit, JD Pincus. And I clicked on his profile and I was like, fucking Instagram doesn't tell me when JD Pincus follows my account.
Yeah, they should.
You know? I found that out. Like, it drives me insane. It'll tell me when someone with 100 followers who bought their fucking checkmark follows me, but it won't
Yeah.
tell me JD Pincus or fucking Paul Williams did.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Insane.
Tell me that.
And it was like, hey, Instagram, it's fucking Paul Williams. You're not gonna tell me this shit. But
Post it in my story. I need to know.
fucking nuts. Or like the drummer for the fucking Deftones. You know, it's like, hey, don't tell me any of the important ones. Like, I found out the dude from the drummer from the Deftones was following us because I had people send me pictures of him wearing our shirts on stage at these fucking
yeah.
shows.
Yeah.
You know, and then I looked it up. I looked up his fucking name in our system, and I was like, he's been buying our shit fucking a year and a half.
Yeah.
You know, like I had no idea.
It's crazy. It's great. Like, I don't know. Once you figure out the social media thing, or it figures out you and starts to happen around you, I don't know how it feels for you, which direction it goes. Like, I do some input, but I feel like so many things kind of happen just around me by whatever, whatever means. I don't know.
I mean, like
Yeah,
you
people
get
like that. I saw like Bunny XO, like Jelly Roll's wife, like bought a shirt for me one time.
see that's goofy. Like you're like,
What?
how the fuck?
Is there a picture of her wearing it? Like, I gotta find. I haven't seen.
The biggest one that ever got me was Johnny Knoxville followed me, and
Oh,
fucking
yeah.
12-year-old me went, holy fucking shit.
You made it.
And for a year, I was like, I gotta talk to him. I gotta talk to him, but I don't know how to talk to him, you know. And then finally, he messaged me off of some fucking thing I posted, and my Instagram just had, "Hey, this is a paragraph from Johnny Knoxville about him not knowing that much about Chris Ledoux." You know? And me being like, "I like Chris Ledoux. You might too."
Yeah, no, Chris Ledoux.
He's good, man. But that got a little bit off track. I also wanted to hear about the Hitchhiker series that you did.
Oh, the
Because I don't
Hitchhiker.
know that much about South Carolina. You know, when you hear about like spooky shit in the South, oftentimes it's like New Orleans a lot. You know, Savannah, Georgia has that shit. But South Carolina, a lot of people are like, cool, nice beaches. You know,
Yeah.
not spooky shit.
People don't think like so. South Carolina should be 3 separate states. I'm from deep Western North Carolina. My mom moved down. It's called the Dark Corner. They'll try to sell it to you as the Golden Corner, but like
Better.
it's the only county in the state that's in Appalachia, like in the mountains. We border North Carolina and Georgia, so where I live, I can be in Georgia in 15 minutes, North Carolina in 20. But South Carolina is like the one county that's the mountains, the Piedmont, which is all the flat stuff, and then the beach. So most of the beach vibe you'll still feel like, even around here, the lake life people
Right.
that do beach style houses for some reason. So there's just been a lot of dark tragedy. Even Lewis Redmond, the famous whiskey distiller, like he's buried 10 minutes from my house. So like Dark Corner, like distillery or whatever, like that all is heritage and lineage to him. But I mean, so he was a man who murdered a revenuer, was on the run from the law, was still like making moonshine illegally, was finally caught up with. Like this dude would like show up at revenuers' houses, you know, after they like took his horse or like took something from him, and he would get it back. Like this dude was a boss. Eventually, he got caught, and he did hardly any time in prison before the government sent him here, 10 minutes away to like run a legal whiskey distillery.
Oh wow.
Was this after Prohibition or still during Prohibition?
I think this might have been before.
Okay.
I'm thinking it was before. I could look it up. So with that said, like there's also this like the Germans settled this county in the 1845-ish, and they wanted to put the train through here. And this is right before the Civil War broke out. They invested all of their money in this train project, which like just went defunct and they got swindled out of their funds.
All
And
right.
so to this day, there's like this unfinished, it's they call it the tunnel, but it doesn't tunnel to anywhere. It's basically a cave that they built. They were trying to drill into this solid piece of granite. And of course, it was this big mixed race labor force they had up there, Irish, African, some native folks. Um, and apparently, according to this one Catholic priest who went up there to speak with the Irish people, it was hell on earth because they were constantly blowing things up.
Right.
Blacksmiths working around the clock to keep the tools sharp. Uh, and so in my mind, I thought people would just enter and exit through the front since they already bored out the hole, and that's how they would get in and out. But no, they bored these big shafts from the top of the mountain, like down into the tunnel. And so
Okay.
they'd made these steam powered elevators. And so most of the deaths at this place occurred by accidents in the dark tunnel or from people falling through these like 300-foot shafts.
Jesus.
And so like the Irish had a town on top of this mountain called Tunnel Town. And like people would just get shot in the street. It was all brothels. There's one church. Uh,
That's
a
right.
lot of the stories read like people were buried like where they fell, like after they were shot. Just crazy stuff. So that's another one of those places. If you go in there, like it's got a really eerie feeling.
I
Is
bet.
there still like stuff standing from that town up there?
There's a little foundation of what I believe was the church, and then you can tell like where the graves are because they're marked with stone. But the story is that the Confederate Army tore down most of those houses up there and used them for firewood.
Huh.
So just like compounding on dark things, you want to hear about the hitchhiker.
I mean, I want to hear about a number of things. Before we
Uh,
get, I always think it's interesting, right? Like with the Civil War, like Sherman's March to the Sea, right?
yeah.
You know, you hear about that, but that's like real intense. They were just burning fucking everything.
Burning things down, and there's still like you'll still come across it's like chimneys. It's the only thing that remains, like from
Yeah,
homes that he burnt down.
and like my dad lives in near Greensboro, Georgia, which is near like right on Lake Oconee. If you have any idea where that is, it's off of Route 20.
Okay.
Uh, but there's Madison, Georgia, just like I don't know, 25 minutes away, and it's like the only town in the area that has stuff standing from before the 1860s because Sherman skipped it.
Athens.
Uh,
You skipped Athens.
I don't think it was on his path,
Oh.
but like in his path, because everything else in this area doesn't have anything from before the Civil War, right? But he skipped Madison because he was fucking a lady there,
Ah.
so he
reason.
didn't burn that town
Yeah.
down.
It's a good reason.
History
You know?
is very entertaining.
There's a lot of stories like that where it all comes down to something stupid. You know, it's like, why didn't this get burned? Because he was
Yeah.
nailing someone.
Because that would have hurt his chances.
Yeah, because she wouldn't have kept doing it.
Right.
But yeah, sorry, hitchhiker.
It's it's our most popular story in the county where I live.
So it happened like right there.
Yeah, so on the road that you would take to cross the border into North Carolina, it kind of winds through the mountains. The story goes at like 1947 or something. This man named Larry Stevens left Greenville, South Carolina, was flying out to the mountains, getting his hours in, wanting to see the sunset. And by the time he made it out, like before he could circle back, he got, spatial disoriented in a storm and crashed into the side of the mountain. People talk about seeing the plane wreck, but they never found Larry Stevens. And since
Okay.
that day, since that faithful day on a rainy day, if you're driving the stretch of road there, there's an overlook and then there's a spring. Uh, so for 80 years at this point, people still report to police and park rangers that they'll see a figure out there hitchhiking, and he'll be at the overlook or be at the spring. You stop and pick him up, and then you drive. It's 2 miles, and then he asked to get out at one of the other places. So, what if you pick him up at the Overlook, he gets out at the Spring. If you pick him up at the Spring, he gets out at the Overlook, and then he disappears as he walks away from the car. Well, I'm a super nerd, so I was like, "Who was Larry Stevens? We got to get into this." Uh, I searched everything. Like I couldn't find uh like the NTSB, like the plane crash investigators. I couldn't find a report. I didn't find anybody named Larry Stevens in Greenville, South Carolina in 1947. I searched everything I could find to look for Larry Stevens. There's no newspaper article, nothing. But what I did find was in 1943, an Army B-25 bomber with five crew members crashed into the side of the mountain up there. And there are newspaper articles about that. Like it was found by a 17-year-old boy who was just like riding his mule to the fish hatchery or something. He came across the engines and saw the bodies. And so he went back and was finally able to notify somebody. And they went up there and cleaned all that stuff up. But I fully believe if there is a ghost hitchhiker haunting that up there, because this Larry Stevens guy, like the description of his clothing fits that of a pilot from the 1940s. The trench
Okay.
coat, the boots, the hat. Um, and it wasn't until like it was like 70 years later when those dudes who were 17 at the time went back in their 80s and they put a memorial stone up there on the side of the mountain. Like just a few hundred yards away from where they found that plane crash. And since then, there have been a lot of plane crashes up there. Whether it was private planes, like on the way to Clemson football games, there was a leader of a certain three-letter organization that was on the way to a what they call a rally when he crashed his plane up there.
That one's fine.
Just like, oh yeah, it's fine. Just a lot of weird, like weird dark things happen around here.
So, what do you attribute something like a story about someone like Larry Stevens? There's a specific year, right? And a lot of people are saying it. You know, people are saying they like picked up a guy or seen a guy, and then it seems like that doesn't exist. You know, what do
Right.
you attribute that to? Like just people telling stories, trying to get involved with something.
I think there's some of that, and like you'll kind of see that on TikTok now if you ever dive down that hellhole. Uh, escape.
I can't do it.
I don't.
Don't don't do. Um, does not recommend. Well, there's parts of it that are still cool, but anyway, I think there's some of that. There's that telephone word of mouth, like this person told that person this story, and it gets embellished a little bit more every time. Southern people are real good at telling stories. So,
Mhm.
eventually they become a fishing story, uh, or clicks and views, right? Um, so I think, somebody might have picked up a ghost hitchhiker of the military aircraft that crashed up there in the 40s and then told somebody, and then it kind of snowballs into this. The next person told it, oh, I believe his name was Larry. And that person tells it,
Stevens.
oh yeah, he had a yellow plane, I remember. The next person will tell it a little bit more embellished. I think they kind of snowball from there, which makes for great stories, eventually,
Yeah.
once the community fills in all the details. But sometimes they can get out of hand.
How do you like parse out what may be real from what is something like that? You know, because like my wife likes the show Ghost Adventures, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Um, and they did one at the Mansfield prison, and all of that shit. I'm like, you're doing this, it's views. Like, you're not hearing things. You can put everything in post. Like, it's very easy to fake this. But then I go to Mansfield and I'm like, this is fucking spooky. I don't like that chair. There's something to this. So, how do you go about like parsing out what is, I don't know, clickbaity or embellishment versus like what may actually be an odd occurrence?
That's a great question. I don't know how to answer it. I think I'm just kind of burnt out on. I've been kind of stepping back from the telling too many stories and just leaning more into like live performances and like I don't know. I'm in a situation where I'm changing what I'm posting. Uh, just because there's so much and then some of them are misrepresented. I don't know. I never imagined Appalachia to be a trending topic on the internet. So, I mean, I feel very fortunate. I was raised by my great grandmother, and she was strange. She'd sit around and read cards and, jar stuff and sweep things and uh,
Yeah.
do various types of folk healing practices at home. Uh, and then, like if I make a video about that, all of a sudden, like 12 other people have a very similar story, which I'm not discounting it, uh,
Sure.
because I can't. But it's like, it seems like we're in an echo chamber.
Yeah.
I mean, with the internet,
That is.
like that's because an echo chamber can also be your town telling the Larry Stevens story for 70
Exactly.
years, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
But with the internet, the echo chamber gets much bigger. Um,
Faster.
and like I see shit constantly because like Instagram reels are kind of all right, but Facebook reels are fucking insanity. It's always like I don't know what it is, but it's always like very clear AI videos of like Bigfoot or fucking like something in the sky or fucking flat Earth shit. It's just like all the nut stuff comes out on Facebook because people on Facebook oftentimes skew older and can't be like, oh, clearly not right, whereas people that are younger can be like, that's insane. Uh, and I think that plays into it as well a little bit, because you have people now who can tell stories, back it up with images that if you don't know how to tell that it's not real, you
Yeah.
go, oh shit, that has to be real. I just saw it. Because when you were growing up for 70 fucking years, if you saw something, it was real.
Right.
Which
speaks to a broader problem with the
yeah,
internet.
it does. Except for the moon landing.
Yeah,
You can fake
yeah,
that.
yeah.
I don't think the Earth is flat, but I don't think we've been to the moon. Sorry, that was a bit. I do think we've been to the moon. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's interesting now because you have the echo chambers of small towns in these communities that now exist online, and there's no way to go check it out.
Yeah.
Like no one's going to the library like you did, or going to like a records to see like, hey, did Larry Stevens exist? And being like, oh no, he didn't.
Yeah. I wish more people would do that.
Me too.
Yeah, man.
Thank you for doing that.
But to get off of that, I want to focus a little bit on it because you just said you were transitioning from spooky ghost stories into focusing on like live performances and music. Let's talk about that a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, I took my first steps in my grandparents' bar. And I was just having dinner at my mom's yesterday, and she was pulling out old pictures, and like there are pictures of me as a pretty much infant, like sitting on a bar top, like playing with the phone, or I'm there at Halloween. I'm just hanging off, there's pictures of me and like all the regulars at the bar.
Mhm.
Um, so somewhere around like 10 or 11 years old, I remember being at the bar one day, um, and the drummer didn't show up. And my grandpa pointed at me. He was like, "That boy knows music." And it's like I was in the fifth grade. I played the cello at school, uh, that boy. So like this older gentleman, I don't remember his name, but like real skinny older man, the huge trucker hat who played the bass. He was like, "You just gonna follow me, son, on the ones and the twos." I was like, "I don't know what that means." Figure it out, just some just like boot scoot honky tonk music, right?
Yeah.
From that very first day, like when they gave me cash money at the end of a gig, like
I was paid good.
I really haven't been able to do anything else. Like
All right.
music has followed me like from such a young age as pretty much what I'm doing full time on the side while I half-ass real life. Uh, so Uh, during my time in the military, like I was playing playing with the metal band like 2 hours away. Sorry, my dog is barking at something.
Oh, we don't. Oh,
Then in college, when I was supposed to be, focusing on work, I was playing in a band, chasing the long white line out in the desert too. So I would like to circle back to those desert induced
Yeah.
experiences that are life changing. That's what brought me back home and was a revelation to like start doing the Appalachian sun.
that's the exact same thing.
Yeah, just embrace where you come from and like be brutally honest about it.
Yeah.
Uh, but then after college, I was working in the funeral home, and like that was my career, that was my job. I wasn't ever going to do anything else. Like I was going to die leading a funeral procession one day. Like that was the goal. And that's the one time in my life where I was not playing music on the side. But that funeral home got bought out in like 2019-ish. I got laid off because I wasn't willing to upsell grieving people on shit they don't need.
Right.
And kind of mentally quit funeral service when I heard one of the suits say, like, you got to get them while the tears are still in their eyes, which is
Yeah,
like
that's pretty cynical.
some dark shit. And I'm not on board with that because, it was like a local family funeral home. Like, we were doing extra things for people. Like, we would ask people, like, does your loved one have any religious, like thing that you would like to be performed before their cremation, right? And
Right.
most of the time people would be like, nah. But then, we started asking, well, would you like us to play a song? So I've
Oh,
played Freebird, Tuesday's Gone, and Simple Man before hundreds of cremations. Like I have
Yeah,
a
I'm sure.
I even have a hard time like I get emotional listening to those three songs because I've just like sent many people to the
yeah.
beyond, like right at the kick in of the guitar solo of Freebird every time. Like it's enough time to do the paperwork that you got to do and allow the machine to warm up. You can like push in like right at the kickoff of the guitar solo. It's beautiful. So anybody who might recognize me from the funeral home and ask me to play Freebird for your loved one, I did it,
Happened.
and they went off like at the guitar solo. I'm welling up right now because like it was so important to me to do that work.
That's awesome, man.
But then so I got laid off when it got bought out by a big corporation and started making those cause of death videos. I didn't really have anything else to do because 2020 like happened 3 months.
Right.
The events of 2020 were 3 months later. So I think that Conway Twitty video is like 2019-ish. I don't know if you saw that one, but that was the first video I made. I was just my ex-wife and I were listening to a lot of Conway Twitty and
Like,
I don't know, he was on the brain. Granny loved Conway, so I was just like I made that video, I posted it on YouTube, and I wasn't really thinking about making videos. Like I was just doing something to try to learn video editing and how all that stuff worked. And I looked back a few weeks later, had 300,000 views. I was like, wait, okay, people like this. If other people can do this, I can do this too.
absolutely.
So then if you watch beyond the Conway Twitty video, there's a varying degree of success there, I think, with
Yeah,
trying to
those.
learn how
Right.
it works. But then I was sitting in the car one day in Chicago and I was like, all right, let's see what TikTok is about. Because I was just like taking a minute for myself. I downloaded it and I made a video about, do you know why Dolly Parton always wears long sleeves? Because she has tattoos. Like my first TikTok video, very first one hit 1 million something views. It might even have more than that now. I was like, Jesus Christ, like that's how this works.
That's, yeah.
So then just fooling around one day, I put on some black overalls and a collared shirt and a tie and like pretended to answer the phone at the hillbilly funeral home that I used to work at. And like
Yeah.
humorously like highlight some of the most badass things I think people have ever done at the end of their life, whether that's get a Dale Earnhardt casket or a camouflage casket or have their cremated remains loaded into shotgun shells or whatever. I've made videos about all this stuff because it's real. You can do it, and I think it's amazing.
It's
You know,
awesome.
because you have these suits who are going to try to upsell you on like shit that you don't need, that is made in China or whatever. Or you can just walk in there and own it, knowing, like if you had a conversation with your loved ones, this is what I want. People are so willing to do that for you. Um, so that kind of changed my life and the trajectory of my social media. I was like, oh, it's Appalachia. Like,
Yeah,
People like it a lot now.
it's
I don't understand. Like, I mean, I can understand, pretty awesome, but I'm like, I don't understand because like I had to neutralize my accent somewhere along the way, just because you're seen as stupid and you get made fun of, or you must, want to marry your cousin or something. Like, there's a lot of
sure
negative
there's baggage.
stereotypes that I faced leaving Appalachia at a young age. Um, so yeah, it baffles me that people are so interested in it now, but it's cool. And so I just kept diving down that rabbit hole, telling the, dark stories like cryptids and Mima's like witchcraft that I grew up with and things like that. And so music has just always been on the backside of that. We're circling back around. And with JD Pincus sending me, uh, I'd made a few recordings like in 2022. Um, but JD Pincus inviting me to come play the Free Holiness Church, like that was like, oh, it's time to make this transition back and like own this part of me. Since I've been like being honest about all these other things that, are foundational to me as a person, like it's time to embrace this one too. And so that has been like snowballing since going to play the Free
That's
Holiness
all.
Church. So I'm super grateful for that, first and foremost. Um, it's just I don't know. I feel like a hillbilly Forrest Gump. I just kind of fall ass backwards into like all these rad things, like talking to you guys today. Like, I, I don't know. I'm just gonna say yes. See what happens.
I mean, do you think like I think the hardest thing from what I've got gathered from talking to a bunch of musicians is having people know that you exist now because of so much noise.
Yeah.
Uh, I imagine that having an amount of a following before being like, "Hey, check this out,"
Right.
is super fucking helpful. You
It's
know?
I've had many musicians that I've met recently that I really respect tell me that I'm doing it the right way.
It
Which
seems
is
like
funny
it.
because it's not
Which
playing.
because like I was on a tangent, like I've been on a tangent. I've played music my whole life. Um, so I don't know, need to be more forward about that these days. It's just rowdy rambling songs about pain, trains, and cocaine. That shit.
You should make that into a shirt. People would buy
You
that
should make
shirt.
that into-
I can't make that into a shirt. He said
We can team
it.
up.
I give permission. Please make that into a shirt.
Dude, I will 100% make that into a shirt. I can guarantee people will buy it. Our best-selling shirt of all time is just the back of it just says, what the fuck does it say? It's the order of You Never Call Me by My Name. Like Mama Trains,
Oh, Mama Train.
Trucks,
yeah.
Dresses, and Getting Drunk.
Yeah,
And like in
I see that one on every show I go to.
yeah, they're everywhere. But like, dude, I think in like 3 months we did like 90,000 on it. You know what I mean? And it's not even a good fucking shirt. Like it is, but I put way more effort into other
Right,
shit.
right.
You
Yeah.
know?
No, it's
That was-
always the thing that you're just like, that does so well.
Dude,
Then
Yeah.
I made a fucking
anytime
GG
I
Allen shirt.
focus too much energy on something, crickets.
No one likes it. You know? Like for real.
Sometimes.
I made a GG Allen shirt that was a badly edited picture of him. And it said like, "Why don't girls like Gigi Allen?" next to his face, and that was the whole shirt. And like, it's funny, but I put it out, and like, it fucking sold like crazy, you know. And like, I spent maybe 15 minutes on it from start to finish,
That's
Heck
not
yeah.
bad.
but then I fucking spend a week designing something intricate and cool that I think is cool, and I put it out, and people go, "Okay,
It's nice.
that's fine."
That's exactly how it works for me too. Not gonna
I've
And
talked to has had the same answer. Um, so now that you're focusing more on music,
Yeah.
what's the next steps? Where can people find you? Where do they go to hear that?
Yeah. Do
well,
we just do all?
like the what is it? Well, there's some songs on Bandcamp. I've been trying to stay away from. I have one song that's on Spotify, and I put it up there so I could use it on TikTok. The
Mhm.
song is called Cocaine, and I figured that people would maybe want to use it for odd videos, but that hasn't been the case. So, uh, yeah, there are three songs on Bandcamp. I just got a new, so I'm glad this sounds good. I just got a new interface so I can record without latency. So, I've just been taking the opportunity to any of the shows I've been invited to over the past year to just work the stuff out in front of people,
Yeah.
just like be solid about it, before, sitting down and hacking it up.
So what's your are you, when you feel confident about the material? Are you going in to record a record?
I I think so. I just having the opportunity to talk to a lot of different musicians recently. I'm really liking the approach to that goes, if you want to hear my music, it's going to be on Patreon. You can subscribe, listen to everything, unsubscribe, come back, and you know, if you whenever you want to, and then like physical media. So I really want to make a vinyl and
Yeah.
just try to like hammer out the which songs I want to put on it.
Do you think that that approach hurts reach, or do you think you have enough followers now that it could be a totally fine and viable option?
So I'm a very observant person, and TikTok shows me a lot of musicians, and I just see that there's not a lot of views or engagement on a lot of these videos, whether it's somebody who just pops up playing a song, which sometimes they do really well because it's amazing, but sometimes uh and I've only learned this from failing forward and trying to make social media videos.
Yeah.
Uh, Very few people want to scroll and see me pop up with a guitar playing a song. So figuring out a different way to present that on social media, because that's really the only marketing you're going to get unless you're putting flyers out or on the streets trying to sell demos out at the trunk like back in the day.
Sure.
Might not be a bad way to go again,
No one's doing it.
Nobody's doing it anymore. And I think, well, you're going to make a whole lot more monies, selling your records on the street than you're going to get from streaming.
Right.
Uh, I mean, unless you're getting billions of streams on certain platforms. And then just like the laws changing around those streaming platforms, where they say you're using our platform, we can use your music in any kind of AI
Right.
regenerative thing. So one of the paths I've just found respectable, and it might work just because maybe I have a small reach, but putting it on Patreon. But you could still, make your social media content like in a way that would drive people to your Patreon to want to hear your songs. I mean,
Definitely.
people go to Bandcamp and pay me way more than I ask for those three songs that I don't think are all that great. But uh, that's a humbling thing. So I feel like that would work for anybody, especially someone who's been making music for a long time and is really tired of like, oh, it's going to be released on this day and we got to build hype. And the
Yeah.
thing about social media, and especially TikTok, if someone's using that, is when you post a video on TikTok, it's not necessarily going to the people who already follow you. It's
Right. Yeah.
being pushed out to try to find you a new audience. So if you're trying to build hype around a release and you're just like posting these videos like new song drops Thursday, but the person looking at you right then and right there can't hear the song, don't know who you are, and
Yeah.
like will never see you again once they scroll past your thing, that idea of trying to promote music that way just I don't think is going to work anymore. But if
Now, there's a guy that we know who you've probably seen on Instagram or TikTok named Sam Kind, and he
that
plays
sounds
songs in front of like his cabin in Colorado, right?
mm,
Um, and he did it. His thing, he just put a fucking tripod up, backgrounds, the mountains, cabin,
Yeah.
right, whatever season it is, and he'll play his songs, but he'll also do like misfit stuff in like his own style,
On
or
the
like
banjo.
growler stuff on the banjo, right? And aesthetically, it's very pleasing to look at, and people ate that shit up.
Yeah.
You know, he
Yeah.
exploded. I feel
Exactly.
like with your aesthetic,
Your
right?
videos are great.
You
already.
described like being overalls and a tie and picking up the phone. If you did the exact same shit and played a guitar, I think people would also eat that up because it's about an aesthetic and a look
I would.
over the fucking. That's what's going to sell it out of the gate, and then people will be like, "What does this guy have?" I'll
Yeah.
actually turn the volume on.
Right.
yeah.
But you're up against a lack of attention span that's pretty tough.
But like, I think like it comes down to a look if you're going to keep people engaged.
Yeah.
And if I was you, I don't know if you're looking for advice, but I could see it.
I take all advice.
I think it would be pretty beneficial to do the exact same thing you've done with other videos with a guitar because it worked.
Yeah.
People turn the volume on and listen to it. So if you had a fucking guitar and start singing and make it look aesthetically good, like the hills or whatever, fog, whatever the fuck's going on, people are gonna like it. It sells a whole image, and then
Yeah.
those people will follow you, and then they'll be driven to the other platforms off of there.
I don't watch internet videos, and I watched some of yours and really liked them.
Yeah, that means a lot to me. Thank you.
So if it could catch me, you're gonna get other people easier.
Yeah, it's I mean that there's a method to that. It's like you need a hook in the beginning, like something's gonna stop somebody's attention.
Right.
I think it's that look.
And
Stop.
whether it's your visual or like something like off the wall that you say that like just like breaks because there's like a doom scroll mode like people get into where they're just like next, 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 next. So if you can do whatever you do to break that. I like that idea. I have been cooking up something in the realm of Mountain Mortuary because I do often play my live shows wearing the overalls and the tie, uh, since that's my most popular character.
Yeah.
People who come out to the shows, that's usually you know, who they want to be photographed with. So
hmm
show up, as the mountain funeral guy.
Yeah, man. I mean, I think out of the
Which
gate,
is
like
great.
that's a thing that'll make people stop and listen to the song going on. Because everyone that I've seen that's blown up, like Jesse Wells played fucking Farm Aid, but people were like, "Oh, that aesthetically looks like I want to hear what he's gonna say."
Yeah, I like his style. I mean, he's one who figured out like that. I know him over the guy you mentioned earlier, but that yeah, background he breaks your doom scroll. Like there's
Right.
no there's when you scroll, he starts playing and singing and there's the aesthetic there. Um
It's different from all the other videos before it and after it.
I just think, taking a note from the bands that have been around for 50 years, like they've all had, like some sort of personal aesthetic that no other band has had. Just like whether it was a costume or face paint or some
Yeah.
dark lore about the group in and of themselves.
Yeah, I mean, I always say like a lot of my favorite artists don't play a genre, right? Like Neil Young plays Neil Young music. The Grateful Dead plays Grateful Dead music. Skynyrd plays Skynyrd music. Joni Mitchell's Joni Mitchell, and nobody the fuck else sounds like them.
Right.
You can put other people on the bill that makes sense,
Yes.
but there's
it's
nobody else.
compatible, but it's not.
Yeah, you're never gonna confuse Bob Dylan with any other fucking person alive.
Yeah.
You know?
There's a great book by Ron Eckerman. It's called Turn It Up, and he talks about being the band manager for Leonard Skinner.
hmm
And those boys would upstage anybody they played with. Like, of course, they were an opening band for the longest time. They opened for the Rolling Stones. They opened for Willie and Waylon one time. And like they would play Freebird after at the end of their set, and people would leave. Like nobody would stick around to see the headline show because like they had just been just completely like transcended into another place, and they're like, well, this show is over. Nothing's
Yeah.
as good as
Yeah.
this. I'm gonna go home.
We do brackets, right? As you've probably seen on our Instagram story, to see like best movie out of my favorite movies, and Skynyrd won the fucking band one, right? And they were up against like the Allman Brothers and Waylon and David Allen Coe and Christopherson and like all these fucking people, and Skynyrd beat everyone.
Oh yeah.
I don't know why. Probably helpful that they died. You know what I mean? That kind of adds the mystique.
Yeah.
Floor around it again,
Hard.
driving force.
Yeah, one of my buddies, because Skinner's like a smart, complicated band when you really dig into it, but like a lot of rednecks really like it.
Yeah.
And I was like, why is that? One of my buddies was like, because rednecks know good guitars.
Yeah. Because those guitars are guitar facing.
It's like, that's true. Rednecks know when something sounds fucking cool. and they'll want to hear it.
You're hearing three really great guitarists assaulting your mind at one time.
It's big. Yeah.
It's so fucking big.
It's so big guitars, man.
I don't know, man. That's the big thing now is figuring out, I think for a lot of musicians, is figuring out how to market.
Yeah.
Like we talked to the guy, Charlie Starr from Blackberry Smoke, and his son's playing songs now. And he was talking about how his son was
Right.
like, hey, how do I do this? And Charlie was like, I don't know.
Good question.
We
son.
did it before the internet.
Right.
Yeah,
you have to be creative about, you can't just be creative and get picked up. You have to be creative about how you get into people's heads.
A&R guys fucking want you to have a following before they even think about putting a record out.
Yeah.
They're not going to build you anymore, which is a problem. But
I've not been reached out to by any of these people. I've just been trying to handle it all on my own. Still failing forward, very much so.
You're doing a great job.
I don't know.
Thanks.
That's the people we talk to. Nobody does normal stuff with their lives.
Right. That's the point of it.
That's the point of the whole thing.
Yeah.
So I think it's interesting to me to talk to someone who, in a similar way to like how I've done it, has been like, well, I guess I'm gonna do this, and then just fucking doing it, and it seems to pan out.
And regardless, you're being true to yourself, so at least it's a sustainable journey.
I appreciate that. Yeah.
This has been fun. I appreciate all the stories and all the other stuff that we got into.
Yeah.
I think I told everything. I'm blanking out now.
We got like 4 or 5 spooky stories and a good 20-25 minutes on not spooky stories.
Man,
Yeah. I think we covered everything. Spooky stories, funeral home. Make music if you didn't know.
Music.
Yeah.
There's a part of me though, I kind of like it being a mystery. If you see me on a bill, like you don't know what I'm gonna be doing. You can't hear me, like you gotta come. I don't know. I read this book called Everything I Know About Business I Learned from the Grateful Dead.
I've also read that book.
Oh yeah. So I'm just like the exclusivity of things. Like I did a run of these hats. I sold them all in 2 shows, which is crazy. Like
I've been looking at that hat this whole time.
Yeah. I've been thinking the same thing.
Is it backwards on your camera?
No.
Oh, sweet. Yeah, Heartbroken Hillbilly. There's
a part in that book that I took, which was he did like I think he compared the Dead to Looking Glass and the song Brandy, where he was like, Brandy sold more than any Dead song sold by a fucking lot.
Yeah.
But nobody has been to a Looking Glass show since 1975.
Right.
Exactly.
And it was like the long tail of marketing where the Dead is just, they're never peaking, right? They're just here. And they have their people that are going to fit into that category, and those people are never going to give up.
Right.
And then their kids are going to get into it. So as people like die off, there's another generation who's equally as fucking fanatic about it. And also we accept that sometimes it's just going to be bad.
Right. Yeah.
But I don't know, it's an interesting
You got to take the failures with the wins for sure.
Yeah, I mean, there's whole shows on the Sirius XM channel, 12 o'clock. I'll turn it on and I'll go, oh, that's not good for the next 3 hours. Let's listen to something else. Hey, that's a bad fucking show, guys. But then there's shows like there's one in Pembroke Pines in Florida where I'm like, this is the best thing ever put on record. You know? Well, it's interesting to figure out how to get your things out to people. Well, yeah, thank you for doing this, man.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for having me. This has been a blast.